Us.
It's the Kevin Huerter Show.
The Huerter for three, rips the cords for the first 3 points of the ball game. Welcome to Sacramento, Kevin Huerter.
The Kevin Huerter Show.
Huerter, bring up another triple.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. With over 25 locations in the greater Sacramento area, get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season today.
Joining us right now. Now, we do each and every Wednesday at 8:27. But they're on the road. And if we were going to get Kevin at 8:27 today, he'd have to pause, probably shoot around or something, which I don't think Coach Brown would be too big
he'd be fine with
it. You think Coach Brown would be fine with that? Joining us right now, brought to you by Jiffy Lube from Milwaukee, Kevin Huerter. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
You tell me, my man. Big 6-game road trip, one of 2 6-game road trips the team has all year. How is sunny and love? Are you by the pool right now in Milwaukee?
Oh, yeah. Sunny, nice and warm. I got a nice beverage in hand, just really taking in the nice Milwaukee weather.
You know, this is a 6-game road trip, and right out of the gate, you're playing one of the better teams in the NBA. We were talking earlier, and, of course, media never knows what they're talking about. When you go on the road, everyone loves being at home around their friends and family, but isn't there something about being on the road? You guys are dining together, hanging out, bonding, and really getting away and focusing on basketball. Is there something to that?
There is. That is a good time when you go on the road, especially these types of long road trips, is that everybody's on the same boat. Everyone's trying to get out of their rooms, and everybody's got to eat. It's a great time for all of us to hang out, and it's a lot easier to be social on day 1 than it is on day 10 or 11. But it's going to be a long trip. It'll be a good time for all of us to get together and break bread and hopefully bond a little bit together to help us out the rest of the year.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts and numbers and stuff, where every player has their own way of passing time on the road, video games, books, TV, whatever. What are you doing on the plane? What are you doing in your hotel room to pass time?
I watch a lot of TV shows. I do a lot, especially on the road. I FaceTime a lot of family, friends, and I used to bring, my gaming system on the road my first couple of years, and then honestly just became too much of a hassle. The hotel Wi-Fi and your connection, obviously, to the internet was too tough to find on the road, and the worst is bringing your system and dragging it all the way to cities, and then you don't have the Wi-Fi to support you playing the game. And so I just stopped bringing it and started trying to find different things to do.
Any recommendations before we get into it, TV-wise?
I could talk to you for an hour about recommendations. I'm currently I'm on Yellowstone right now, season 4, so I'm knocking that thing out.
Nope. Okay, well then I'll put it this way, because I have not had a lot of time to watch TV, and I always look at these lists, and it says it's Yellowstone, it's Andor. There was like 2 other TV. Better Call Saul, which I haven't watched, and I can't remember the other. But if you've watched any or all of those, is there one you'd point to for the fans?
I haven't seen Better Call Saul.
Okay.
I was a big Breaking Bad guy back in the day.
Same.
But I've seen Billions. That was the last one I watched, and like I said, I'm on Yellowstone now. Big Ozark guy. Okay. So it's I've seen I got a lot of free time, especially on the road. So I've seen a lot of shows.
We asked you last week. We all, when you were shooting lights out at the beginning of the year, it was, is it sustainable? Of course it's sustainable. And then last week when we talked, you'd had a little stumble from outside, but yet we're making it happen in other ways. And that's continued. Your 3-point shooting is obviously not what it was at the beginning of the year. You're finding other ways to get involved. And one of the reasons I love having this, being able to talk to folks like you, Kevin, is just understanding the mental strength and the mental side of the game. So for you, do you push harder? Do you back off? Do you forget about it? How do you go through when you're in, for lack of a better term, a 3-point shooting slump?
It's tough. It's the ups and downs of a season. Unfortunately, this type of thing, it usually happens every year. You go through so many valleys, and you just obviously try to come out the other side, and you get hot for a couple of weeks, and you can fix your percentages and mentally get yourself there. But for me, it's if I'm not making shots, I get back in the gym. It's I got to go get more extra shots up. These last couple home games, right after games, I'm usually going and getting a bunch of shots up afterwards, and just trying to refine your confidence. And obviously see the ball go through the hoop, and after a couple games, and if it's still not falling, you try something else, and maybe you don't shoot and you try to get away from the game. We had an off day yesterday. I got completely away from the game, just trying to get a mental reset. And then yesterday was a travel day, flew to Milwaukee. Today we got shoot around and, get a bunch of shots up again today. But it's just trying to refine your rhythm, doing that through practice. And when you can, getting yourself away from the game mentally.
Kevin Huerter, brought to you by Jiffy Lube, joining us on the Kevin Huerter Show. The extent of my understanding of jump shots is balance, eyes, elbows, follow through, which I learned in 7th grade at basketball camp. You're a world-class elite shooter. I would imagine it's a mental tug when the amount of time you spend in the gym, the amount of time you spend on your craft. It's one thing, Kevin, if it's like, oh, my elbow's out, or hey, my pinky's not doing the thing, or I'm closing one, something simple that you can correct. Mentally, how do you deal with it when you're going through all of your checks and you're like, dude, I'm doing absolutely everything correctly? Then what do you do?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Sometimes they just don't fall. It's you get in games and everything feels good, the shot looks good, and it just doesn't go in. It's part of the game, and there's plenty of times where it goes the opposite way. It doesn't feel good, and you go into a game and you shoot 5 times and none of them feel good, and 4 of them go in. And it's just the game. It's the mental ups and downs. It's such a long year. I think I've said that at length. It's such a long year. It's 82 games. You're going to go through these types of shooting slumps, and you can't lose your confidence. You got to, like you said, you go through your check marks and you practice, and you just got to trust it and find your confidence.
You said something there. You'll be able to tell me if this is valid or not. I certainly can't. But when you just said, some games you don't feel great in practice and then everything goes in, or of course the opposite, you're great in practice and you're missing everything. The only thing I can relate to there, Kevin, is I'll go to the driving range sometimes and I'm hitting the hell out of the ball, and then I get on the first tee and it's sliced right 300 yards or 200 yards. And there's sometimes I'm grounded my 7-iron 100 yards and I get out and I'm flushing the sucker. Is it kind of the same thing mentally when it comes to the driving range in golf as it is what you're talking about in basketball?
It is. I mean, the practice court's obviously different from the real thing,
sure,
especially when you got a bunch of people watching you. And like I said, the tough part is when everything feels good and you get in the game and things aren't falling. But, I mean, I'm with you there in golf. There's not a lot of times where my ball goes straight, whether it's on the practice green or the actual course. So that would be very similar.
Kevin Huerter with us. Your defense and the team defense, we see all the metrics. I'm sure you do too. This team is doing better defensively than it has in years, and just over the last few games, better than it's done in decades. Mike Brown comes in and he's got a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of new folks on the team like yourself. Is this just a matter of, the effort was always there, it seemed, of finally Mike getting through repetition, practice, and sustainability now?
Yeah, it's been a lot of repetition. It's we definitely worked on it really hard in training camp and continue to do so over these first 20 games. Personnel wise, I think we have a lot of guys that play heavy minutes that you'd say that their strength on NBA court comes on the offensive end. And that's, I think, talent wise and offensively, we're one of the elite teams in the NBA. And it's the whole time that we've just talked, like if we can just get our defense to be top 15, like we'd be really tough to beat. And he's preached that all year. I think we've gone through stretches, especially in different games, where we've been able to put together stops and we've needed to, but just haven't been able to sustain it over the course of the game. And I think more and more we're realizing the importance of that into the court. Guys are staying locked in longer. We played some really good teams to start the year. I think that had a lot to do with it. We played at home the last 3 games. We've been really good defensively, and 2 of those were at home, which always helps. But we got 6 games on the road against a lot of teams towards the top of the East. So that defense is definitely going to be tested.
You guys have been home the last 3 games, but 4 games ago, 3 games ago, you guys are on the road. I thought the best win of the year was Cleveland. A lot of talk about what the most quality win is, but the fact that you guys played 2 games in a 26-hour period over the weekend, home and away, and won them both. Kevin, you're you guys ran the Clippers off the floor. They're obviously missing some guys. Doesn't matter. They're pros. You ran them off the floor, and you're sitting there playing, Kevin, in the fourth quarter, and you're hearing Staples Center or Crypto, whatever it is. You're hearing Light the Beam chants. Did you hear those chants at the time? And what was that like, man?
No, I mean, of course. That was, the best part about that was usually you're in a away arena, and sometimes it happens, your fans start a chant, and they right away, the home crowd starts to drown them out, and
right.
they start booing, and they couldn't. Like, it was, our fans were weird enough there. They were loud enough, and maybe it was the score was definitely lopsided, but, the home crowd wasn't drowning out our fans. So you got a full Light the Beam chant on the road, which is really neat to see. We were sitting there on the bench at the end of the game, just kind of laughing to ourselves. But, if we're being honest, that was a game we were supposed to win. They had a lot of guys out. They had a lot of their better players and shot creators that were out. And that's a really good team. But, one that we kind of went into and we're like, this is a game we need to win. We have our full team. We're at full strength. And then came at home, and, the Bulls were, I think, on game 5 or game 6 of their road trip. And, mentally, we're going to be there here in a couple of weeks. I think, you're just ready to get home at that point. And those are the games you especially got to take advantage of. And they're 2 really good wins against, I think, teams towards the end of the year that will end up with really good records. But, for us as a team, we're, in the conversations we put ourselves in, those are 2 games that we felt like we needed to get.
I don't know if you noticed, last question for you, but Monty McNair was wearing Malik Monk's red, I don't know what those are, slippers, something. There's some sort of red, slippery looking shoes that he had lost a bet that you guys would win 5 in a row. He said he'd do that, and you guys won 7 in a row. And you haven't lost since Monty's worn the slippers to the games. And I don't know if Monty's on the road or not. I know he usually is, but am I correct in saying Monty has to continue to wear those big red slippers until you guys lose?
I don't know if he'll do it every game, but he did say there's a new bet in line if we get to 5 straight again. So the tough part for us was he wore them to start the game. We saw him pregame, and then afterwards he already had taken them off, I think, by halftime.
What?
He tried, yeah. And we pointed it out. So, hopefully when we get to 5 games this time around, he'll keep that on all game.
Oh, no, dude, never. What do they say in Bold Durham? I can't say it on the air, but never mess with a winning streak here. You should be wearing those things to bed.
Hey,
wow.
At least we got him to put them on in the first place.
Good luck tonight. As always, stay healthy. Have a great time. And lots of work cut out for you guys tonight, but we'll all be watching and listening back home and rooting for you guys. And hopefully we get a beam lighting tonight. We always appreciate your time, my man.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, guys. Big one tonight.
All right, take care. That's Kevin Huerter from Milwaukee on the Kevin Huerter Show, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube, always there for us, always there for you. Many different locations throughout the Sacramento area. Take care of that vehicle and get it done with a place that supports you. Jiffy Lube. Love them. And love Kevin Huerter. Said a lot of great things there.
You should do voiceovers for Jiffy Lube.
I should.
Impressive.
We'll take a break. When we come back, a couple notes on what Kevin said I want to talk to you about, Jay, real quick, with Katie